Greetings, Warriors Nation. Strap in and get ready, because today we're exploring a blockbuster twist that could see one of the NBA's most relentless competitors suiting up in royal blue and gold. Before we dive into the heart of this jaw-dropping rumor, do yourself a favor, slam that like button, subscribe to Warriors News Fan Report, and ring the bell so you never miss the latest scoop on Golden State's next potential game-changer. It all started with a headline that sent shivers down the spine of hoops fans everywhere. A seasoned veteran, known for his blistering pace, fierce competitiveness, and occasional off-the-charts triple-double performances, has publicly dismissed talk of hanging up his sneakers even as he heads into surgery this off-season. Yes, he's recovering from yet another hand injury, his second significant procedure in 2 years. But at 36 years old, this point guard refuses to consider retirement. Instead, he's issuing a tantalizing promise. See you soon. As the basketball world speculates on his next move, one question looms large. Could that "see you soon" be in a Warriors uniform? Imagine the scene at Chase Center, a crisp evening breeze off the bay, fans gathering with keen anticipation, all wondering if the under-the-radar discussions between front office executives and player representatives will culminate in a seismic addition to the roster. This isn't just any veteran role player we're talking about, it's the 2017 MVP, a floor general whose motor never quits, whose blend of explosiveness and playmaking redefined what it means to guard the point position, and whose sometimes polarizing career has included both absurd highs and frustrating lows. And now, fresh off a season in Denver where he averaged 13.3 points, 6.1 assists, 4.9 rebounds, and 1.4 steals per contest while playing nearly 28 minutes a night, even with 2 broken hands, he's made it crystal clear. He's far from done. Could the Warriors be the perfect landing spot for a player craving a new narrative, a fresh challenge, and an opportunity to chase another ring? It's not as far-fetched as it sounds. Think back to those Google events in San Francisco where surprise appearances by top talent sparked wild chatter. Remember how whispers of off-court connections can fuel on-court possibilities? This veteran has a history of linking up with former MVPs and sharpshooters, players who share the same agent and have built mutual respect in locker rooms and charity events alike. Now, sources close to both sides hint that Golden State's brass has quietly expressed interest in adding the veteran's unique firepower to an already electrifying core. Let's break down the contours of this rumor. Our mystery point guard holds a player option worth roughly $3.5 million for the upcoming season, essentially pocket change in today's NBA economy for his pedigree. While he could opt in and return to Denver as a seasoned backup behind their all-star center, he has every incentive to test free agency, a bigger payday, a more prominent role, and the chance to shine on the grandest stages. And who better to highlight his talents than a franchise renowned for its fast-paced offense, unselfish ball movement, and tyranny over the three-point arc? The Warriors, of course, face their own decision matrix. They've maxed out several stars, flirt with the luxury tax line, and must weigh the value of continuity against the allure of a high-octane upgrade. Yet imagine the possibilities. Picture the Splash Brothers raining threes while our guest arrives, off screens, bulldozes to the rim, and dishes out assists with trademark flair. Recall the playoff runs where Stevens' gravity created a vacuum, allowing teammates to flourish. Now insert a dynamic playmaker who thrives in chaos, crashes boards like a wrecking ball, and pushes the pace on every possession. Could that combination send fear through every Western Conference opponent? Of course, adding a new high-usage superstar isn't without risk. The Warriors' identity over the past decade has hinged on intuitive spacing, seamless defensive rotations, and a culture that prizes the collective over individual accolades. Introducing a ball-dominant guard midstream requires delicate chemistry work. Will the newcomer embrace spot-up shooting when Curry initiates? Can he adjust to fewer isolation possessions? Will his 2 recent hand surgeries, one on the left. Ligaments, another to correct fractures. Impact his explosiveness or confidence in driving the lane. These are questions swirling among insiders and armchair GMs alike. But if there's one constant in Golden State's history, it's resilience. Last offseason, critics wondered if injuries and departures would derail their dynasty, yet they roared back with vintage brilliance. Their front office has proven adept at weaving salary cap magic, turning role players into playoff difference makers, and coaxing superstar performances when it matters most. Could they pull off a sign and trade that nets this veteran and still keep Draymond, Klay, and the rest intact? Some league executives believe they could, leveraging expiring contracts and draft assets to match salaries while preserving future flexibility. Meanwhile, Warriors Nation is already ablaze. Social feeds are teeming with mock jerseys featuring the veteran's name above the number 4 once again in Golden State colors. Fan forums debate whether the move would cement the Warriors as the undisputed favorites, or whether it risks unraveling a roster built on decades of shared history. Would this be the masterstroke that delivers another banner, or the gamble that upends a championship-tested rotation? History teaches us that blockbuster trades and sign-and-trades can be double-edged swords. Recall Moses Malone's impact in 82, Shaq's arrival in 96, or more recently the Kevin Durant era that produced back-to-back finals appearances. Each injected fresh juice but carried chemistry questions in tow. Could the same script play out again, or is Golden State's culture strong enough to integrate a player of such magnitude without missing a beat? As we edge toward June and free agency opens, the clock ticks on every franchise's plan. Every day without clarity, fans grow hungrier. Every rumor from local reporters, every cryptic tweet from League Insiders fans dissect like championship x-rays. And all the while, our veteran remains cryptic, only offering that tantalizing "see you soon" line, an enigma that sets imaginations ablaze. Now, Warriors faithful, we've laid the groundwork, whetted your appetite, and teased the potential. Seismic shift in our lineup. Stay tuned, because in Part 2 we'll dive headlong into the nitty-gritty of trade packages, salary cap sorcery, and the ripple effects on every title contender in the West. Until then, let the speculation burn. Let the theories fly and keep your eyes glued to Warriors News Fan Report for the next chapter in this electrifying saga. If you're still with me, Warriors family, make sure you tap that like button and smash subscribe to Warriors News Fan Report right now so you don't miss a single update on this unfolding blockbuster storyline. Now, let's dive into how adding Russell Westbrook could redefine the Warriors' identity, the ripple effects across the league, and what it all means for our quest to hoist another Larry O'Brien trophy. First, let's imagine the impact on our rotation. Westbrook arriving in Golden State would instantly inject a level of intensity and athleticism we haven't seen since the championship runs of the mid-2010s. Picture him hunting every loose ball, rampaging through gaps on dribble handoffs, and igniting the fast break with his trademark urgency. He'd bring a relentless, competitive edge to a roster that already prided itself on its unselfish ethos. But make no mistake, this isn't simply about filling a spot in the backcourt. It's about integrating a player who demands the ball in his hands, whose career averages hover around a triple-double, and whose energy can ignite both the crowd and his teammates. Steve Kerr's genius will be put to the test. How do you balance Westbrook's boundless aggression with the flow that makes Curry and Thompson so deadly? Salary cap considerations loom large. Westbrook is set to earn a veteran's minimum deal, a savvy move that makes his acquisition tantalizingly affordable. Golden State could clear the necessary room by stretching or waiving an existing salary slot, perhaps moving on from a veteran on an expiring contract, and use that flexibility to absorb Westbrook without violating luxury tax limits. Front office architects Bob Myers and Mike Dunleavy know how to navigate these waters, but they'll need to ensure that the move doesn't compromise the team's ability to re-sign key contributors like Chris Paul or Andrew Wiggins, should they become free agents. The goal is to add Westbrook's firepower without sacrificing the core that has carried the franchise to multiple finals appearances. On the court, Westbrook's role would be multifaceted. In transition, he'd exploit his historic speed, catching defenders off guard and creating early offense scoring opportunities. Off the ball, he could set vicious screens to free up shooters or crash the glass on misses, turning defensive boards into instant scoring threats. In half-court sets, Westbrook's playmaking instincts would require Curry and Thompson to adjust spacing and timing, but his ability to collapse defenses could open up even more room for splash-style threes. Draymond. Green's defensive IQ would be vital in orchestrating switches to cover for Westbrook's occasional lapses on the perimeter. Together, they could unleash a hybrid style that blends the frenetic energy of a Westbrook-led squad with the surgical precision of a Warriors offense. Yet any addition of Westbrook must be weighed against team chemistry. The Warriors' hallmark has been an almost telepathic connection between their stars, honed over countless playoff battles. Integrating a high-usage guard mid-season can disrupt established rhythms. Will Westbrook embrace fewer isolation possessions? Can he strike the balance between hero ball and selfless play that has defined Golden State's championship DNA? His relentless motor could both inspire and exhaust teammates, and Draymond's leadership will be critical in ensuring the locker room stays cohesive. Beyond Golden State, the league-wide implications could be seismic. Lakers and Suns executives would suddenly face a revamped Warriors juggernaut, forcing them to reconsider their own off-season plans. Los Angeles might double down on size or shooting to counter Westbrook's drive-and-kick prowess, while Phoenix could look to shore up their defensive backcourt to limit his transition impact. Even teams outside the Western Conference would feel the tremors, anticipating that a Warriors-Westbrook partnership could set a new standard for speed and scoring. Media narratives would shift overnight. ESPN analysts would pore over vintage Westbrook highlights debating if his bring the energy style meshes with Kerr's ball movement first philosophy. Pundits would argue whether this marks a return to the show-me-style basketball Westbrook loves or if it signals a more refined role tailored for winning. Social media would become a battlefield of opinions, some praising the potential for highlight reel plays, others warning that adding a mercurial superstar risks fracturing the delicate balance that has propelled this dynasty. Let's not overlook the personal stakes. Westbrook, now in his mid-30s, has repeatedly stated he's not done chasing greatness. Landing in Golden State gives him the chance to compete for a title alongside some of his basketball idols, rewriting the closing chapters of his Hall of Fame career. For Curry, Thompson, and Green, it presents a new frontier. Can they mentor a future Hall of Famer while still demanding the ball in critical moments? What does this say about their competitive spirit? That they're willing to bring in a veteran with a storied past and a hunger to prove himself once more. As June approaches and free agency kicks off, the clock ticks on every decision. Will the Warriors' front office move swiftly to secure Westbrook before other suitors emerge? Or will they hesitate, prioritizing continuity over the allure of a high-octane gamble? Every rumor out of Oakland, every whisper in the locker room, and every covert meeting between agents and executives could be the tipping point. Fans are already penciling in Westbrook's name alongside Curry on championship flags, and the idea of Warriors x Westbrook highlight compilations has gone viral on YouTube even before a deal is inked. At the end of the day, the ultimate question is simple. Does adding Russell Westbrook transform the Warriors from perennial contenders into unstoppable favorites? Or does it threaten the cohesion and style that have made this team basketball's gold standard? As a die-hard fan, I'm electrified by the prospect. The way Westbrook's intensity could amplify Curry's creativity and Thompson's precision sends shivers down my spine. Yet, I also appreciate the weight of this decision and the razor-thin margin between genius and miscalculation. Now it's over to you, Warriors Nation. What do you think about this potential addition? Are you ready to welcome Westbrook's relentless drive to chase center, or do you fear it might upset the balance of our beloved dynasty? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I can't wait to read your passionate takes. If this deep dive got you hyped, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to Warriors News Fan Report, and ring that notification bell so you're always first in line for the next chapter in what could be the most thrilling offseason in franchise history. Until next time, stay golden!